Dear rock stars, we get to sit down and have a conversation with lovely Ashley Marin. She's the founder of Marin Makeup, and I'm so excited you're here with us today.
Me too.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
All right, well, let's go back a little ways.
Okay.
Take us back. So you're right now the founder of a makeup company, right? And services, right? How would you
Yeah.
describe what you do right now?
Yeah, it's a more service-oriented company. So Marin Makeup caters to beauty, fashion, bridal, and TV. So anything from the corporate setting to the everyday beauty makeup lesson.
Okay, and you've been in this field for how long?
Over 10 years.
Okay, like
Yeah.
you look too young to
Yeah.
have been in it 10 years, but I'm just going to trust you.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so-
started when I was 15.
right?
With a family business, yeah.
So take us back there. Take
Okay.
us back to what was it like for you growing up? What were your
Yeah.
experiences?
Well, I was raised by a single mom.
This is a theme. I raised kids as a single mom.
Yeah, so I didn't know that we didn't have things. Like, I didn't know that I only had hand-me-down clothes. I didn't know that, she was only making $6 an hour. So I didn't know that there was never a struggle for us. But she did. She raised me doing freelance makeup artistry. She did photography. She did some modeling. So I kind of naturally grew up in the beauty industry, seeing what it was like to work and kind of have an eye for what I thought was beautiful. And it really shaped, I think, my opinion going through my teen and college years for my identity.
So when
Yeah.
you were growing up, what was it like? What happened in your childhood?
Well, that's an awesome question. I had, I had a super peaceful life. Actually, up until recently, I didn't even remember anything before 6 years old. Through inner healing work, I have discovered that life was super peaceful before 6 years old.
Yeah,
And
like
then
before 6, it worked.
it was like solid. My parents were together. We were happy. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. And then after my parents divorced at 5.5, 6 years old, we kind of sort of went into survival mode.
Yeah, it happens, right?
Yeah, and I didn't know that was what was happening, obviously, because I'm a little kid, right? So formative things that happened at that age was when my parents divorced, my mom was living for the Lord and my dad wasn't. So that whole double-mindedness kind of really set in.
Okay.
And that was a huge thing for me to now later in life overcome.
So parents with different values, okay, and divorce.
And divorce, yeah. Yeah, so I'm super passionate about unity and just togetherness and doing life together no matter what place in life you're in. And I bless my dad wherever he is.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him since I was 15. And you know what? That's okay. I've really sought inside of myself to forgive him and to not look for my identity in abandonment, which is so easy to do.
Right, like our trauma can start to define us.
Yes, and it did for a very long time. Yeah.
Tell us about that. Tell us about the period where it was defining you.
Yeah, it defined me pretty heavily. I was looking for love in all the wrong places. I wore makeup as a mask. I really wore it to hide who I was. I had to look just right, to walk into a room, or I had to have a smile on my face, and I never really was able to be me because I thought my expectation of who I should be was such a false expectation.
When did that begin?
I know exactly when it began. I was 6 years old waiting on the steps for my dad. I was in a pretty dress. My makeup was all done. My hair was all done. When I was 6 years old.
And you were wearing makeup.
This cute little gloss,
Yeah.
cute little natural gloss or whatever. But I was all, I was all prettied for him and I was waiting for him and he never came. And that was a huge formative moment for me. Now knowing that was when the double-mindedness, the abandonment, the feeling like I needed to perform, feeling like I needed a man to approve of my beauty, which is a huge thing walking through life as a woman. You are looking for love, and if you don't look for it for who your true identity is, then you're just gonna find it in all the wrong places.
So as you grew up, how did that manifest?
Yeah, doing the makeup.
or this searching, right?
Yeah, the searching, and it really truly was because of the double-mindedness of seeing my dad on the weekends and being with my mom. I was like all natural and was living a pure life, during the week, and then on the weekends it was like, outfits and, glam and all of that, and I was looking for attention in ways that were not who I knew I was inside, but I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
So it really drove me to have a passion for young women and women, and really helping them walk in true pure beauty.
Wow.
And the authenticity coming from the inside first.
So how far did it go before you got there?
Yeah, it was a long time. Bless my mother.
Bless
my mother.
Right? Like, oh, they just love us in spite of ourselves.
Yes. She, I'm an only child, so Mom and I are like BFF. Like, we weren't like that growing up, but now that I'm older, and she's kind of like a sister, a friend, and a mom, like all in one package, which is such a blessing. Yeah, we had some serious struggles. I was in a not good relationship with someone, and I remember getting the cops called on us. I'm an expressive person, but it was coming from a place of pain and trauma, and it wasn't coming from a place of authenticity.
So where did that journey take you? What was, like, when did you hit bottom there?
Yeah, in the double-mindedness.
Well, in that searching.
In the search for love in all the wrong places. Yeah, I was a young woman. I struggled with drugs and alcohol. I was in an abusive relationship, both on my part and on his part. I just pretty much did anything I possibly could to numb and to not feel.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're not alone, right? Like, the whole world is looking for a substance. It can be sex. It could be work.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's because life is painful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So numbing.
Yeah, it was the pain because of just trauma and things that had happened even when I was younger. Things that I didn't know were as serious. I had stuffed, and I didn't let those emotions out. There was a lot of anger, and to look presentable or put together, I numbed with whatever I could, pretty much. And
so you got two sides of it going: the numbing, and then also this like feeling like you had to look perfect.
Yeah, it was very much a perfectionist thing. And I knew the truth. Like, I knew who I was. I was raised in a home that I knew the truth of my true identity as, a woman of God. But I remember being 16 and I openly declared I don't believe anymore. Like, I was
stepping out,
I was done.
rebelling, doing it your way. Because your parents are like, everything's a mess.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't like something I even thought of. It was just another piece to the puzzle of my rebellion, as you would say. Yeah, my running away, and running away from really anything that was of moral standing that I was raised on. I was like, nope, doing the opposite. And I really did. I hit rock bottom pretty hard. I had a lot of suicidal thoughts. I never contemplated or anything like that, but it was scary just to feel like I didn't want to live anymore, because I am a joyful, happy person by nature, and it scared me. And that was really my aha moment of, okay, something has got to give here. And
something's wrong.
Something is wrong. And I knew that something was wrong. I had been given the conversations growing up, okay, you're in a fork in the road, you have to choose now. Choose truth or choose life or choose death. And I had always thought I was choosing life, but it hadn't served me. There was no fruit that if someone were to look at me now, they wouldn't even recognize me, 7 years ago or even 10 years ago. There was just death that was all over me as a person.
So you have this, you realize, thinking about suicide, that you're at, like, not a good place.
Yeah.
What do you do? What did you do?
Yeah, I, this is a really crazy story, but I was working out at a hotel. It was a really good job. I was working in a very nice upscale spa, like $300 is like one of the minimum services. Like really, really good upscale spa at the Universal Studios in Orlando. I had really early morning shifts. And this particular day, I called off work and I wasn't feeling well. I had the flu and I was just I was sleeping at a friend's house. Like I didn't really have a home. I sort of was like a roamer. I would, you know, yeah. And so I was sleeping at a friend's on their couch, and I was taking medicine because I had a bit of a flu. That's why I had called off. But it was more of like a escape type of thing, to be honest. And I heard like the audible voice say, "Go home." I heard a voice say, "Go home," and I'm like, "Ooh, that must be the medicine or something."
Like way too much medicine.
Yeah, I'm like, something's going on. And that day I had plans to go out with my stepfather, who is such an amazing man, who has totally fathered me and has really shown me a father's heart. The desire of my heart to have a father was such an answer when he came into my life. And so I went out to lunch with him, and he didn't ask me any questions. He didn't like, you know, for lack of better words, condemn me or make me feel bad about the situation that I was in. He just listened to me. He truly listened to me and loved me. That was my last, as I say, party day. It was Cinco de Mayo, and I went out with a bang, and I went home. I listened to the voice, and now that I know that, that was God saying that. And he was directing me back home, and I call it my prodigal daughter, son, you know, prodigal son story of literally I was accepted back home. And this may not be how it goes for everyone, but I just want to encourage, you know, whoever is listening, that there is a home for you, and it may not be your biological home, but there is a home where you will be accepted, you will be loved. There won't be questions that are asked that are questions to make you feel bad about yourself. It's truly speaking life to you, and that's what I came home to. And that's really what saved my life, was my mom in particular laying me down and letting me go, because I had to find the truth for myself. She couldn't show me. I couldn't depend on her anymore. I had to find it for myself.
Right.
And that was really what turned me around, was being let go to go down my own path and then find it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then we really own that truth.
I did, yeah.
So when you came back, what was your next big step that had an impact in your life?
Yeah, really cool. I got to be a part of a ministry called Ministries, and they take in girls ages 18 to 28 with any life-controlling issue, anything from depression to sex trafficking. I try to do the two extremes there, but anything in between that.
So it's a place you can go live?
Yeah, it's a place you can go live, and it's completely paid for. And it's a Christian facility, and they teach you all about love and about really setting the foundation of what you don't know to be a responsible citizen. They really help you be responsible. Like
coming back out of...
Yeah, like, you know, when you're in rebellion, the pendulum swings so far that they really swung it to almost like a bit of legalism, so that you can learn what it's like to be responsible. You learn,
like,
you know,
what? Like, give me some ideas of what you had to learn again.
Yeah, I had to learn how to just talk in respectful ways. Like, honestly, I almost had to relearn communication, relearning chores, like how to take care of a house, relearning how to dress appropriately, like in ways that honored myself. It was a lot of mental game. I really truly believe that the battlefield is in our mind.
Yeah.
And what I learned there was how to separate my truths from my lies.
And we all have them. Like, right, there's that voice, and you can put whatever name on it, right? But that voice that, you said it earlier, that speaks darkness.
Yeah.
That speaks death.
Yeah.
And then there is something else.
Yes.
That is contrary.
Yes.
And that is light.
Yes, the light. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I learned to abide in the light, if you will, and really hold on to my truths, to the point where we had a lot of very, like, we had classes from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It was a very scheduled day. So you learned how to have a schedule, and, you know, how to manage your time well, and how to take care of yourself, more importantly, speaking truth over yourself.
when did the divine aha come on the whole beauty thing? Like you said, for a long time, makeup was like a mask, and there was this, you know, almost a competition to look perfect.
Yeah, like an inner conflict.
Tell us the story of like, was there a moment, was there an experience, or how did you come out of that, and what's your belief about it now?
Yeah, you know, I don't know that there was an actual moment. I truly believe that it just happened over time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm the type of person, if something hits me, I'm like all or nothing. And I really felt like this calling of helping to speak life into women, and my vice happens to be makeup artistry.
Yeah.
That it happened so organically.
And you're helping people in that area that you had like a wound.
Yes,
right?
I have a major wound, and with women too. It was a major wound, I think, too, of wanting to be liked and wanting to feel a part, and, you know, wanting to feel like I belonged. And that was a huge wound for me too. So I think my big aha was when I went to the program. I moved across the country, which is a huge thing. I'd grown up in Orlando. I didn't know anything different. It was my home forever. Experiencing a different culture really opened my eyes to what I wasn't using around me here at home. And so since coming back, I really realized community and having people that speak life into you, and not being afraid to trust people, and not being afraid to reach out when you don't know something. That's really how doing makeup started, I think, for me. I kind of grew up doing it because my mom had done it and working for a family business. But when I put my feet to the ground and really started walking it out was when I started to seek other people out and finding mentors and people that believe in you know, like what you're doing. And
so what is your why behind makeup now?
My why I do what I do is because I want women to look in the mirror and feel worthy and valued. I want them to truly look in the mirror and love what they see. And it doesn't mean makeup, it means identity. That's my why. My why is who you are on the inside is so much more important than what people see on the outside. Yeah.
Right. I love this. It reminds me of my mom. And I don't know if she said it to me, but I have been attributing to her, and she's been gone for a long time, but beauty is as beauty does.
Yeah.
And this real essence of that beauty is, we're all attracted to beauty, but beauty is something much more than just the aesthetic that our eye sees. It's an overall experience, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us your starting story, or the path to starting this business you have now.
Well, it's so funny. I feel like growing up, I was always asked to help girls get ready for prom or whatever it was, and I never really thought about it. It just was something I did.
Yeah. And your mom was doing it, so you saw it around you.
Yeah, it was kind of like, you know, my husband jokes he came out of the womb like, you know, loving God, and I'm like, I feel like I came out of the womb just knowing how to do makeup. I don't know. It's weird.
I had to brush my hair.
It's so weird. I don't know. I don't really know a time of not knowing how. And I always had a heart for helping people learn how to do it for themselves. Like, yes, I take money for services now, but my heart is to help you as a woman to feel confident in your own skin. And that's kind of what birthed the makeup side of it. And then skincare, I went to school for skincare, so they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So it actually really birthed out of a love for skincare that then birthed into a love for beauty, and really studying and learning and getting some mentors that could really channel my skills so that I could be operating at a level of excellence, which is my heart, is to do it from a level of excellence, is not to just...
So what was the moment that you actually took your first gig?
My first gig was so funny. It was in a little studio in Mount Dora, and I was actually operating out of my family business name. It was like these little cute dancer girls, and I just did this really simple makeup on them. I didn't know anything about lighting. I didn't really know anything about really the dimension of the face. It was like complete. I feel like I'm the type of person too that like I kind of jump in and then learn later.
I think though that's how it happens.
Yeah.
Like, right? So, everybody jumps in and then they do it and they go, oh, there's a lot of things I need to figure out next time.
I know. Looking at those photos now, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry someone paid me to do that.
And then?
It just progressed. I had a photography friend ask me to do a wedding, and then I got into the wedding industry. And then I had a mentor who actually helped open Universal back in the 80s, who got me more in the production world.
Wow.
And so it's just honestly, it's just being at the right place at the right time and just really following your heart, and where I felt like I needed to go, I went. And where I felt like I needed to leave, I left. And some places I may have stayed a little longer than I should have, but I learned a lot about myself.
Right.
I feel like makeup artistry, there is a skill to applying makeup, but there's such a skill to really seeing someone, like to really see inside them. So when a client, a beautiful lady or man sits in my chair, I truly want to see them, how they see themselves. Because when you're doing makeup on someone, you don't want to do it how, just like you get your hair done, you go to a hairstylist and they do their hair how they think they should have it done.
Yeah, you never go back.
I want you to look like you, you know? Yes, I will add my 2 cents, and yes, from a professional standpoint, I would do this color or that color, but I truly want you to look like you. And that is my heart for beauty, is it's the everyday beauty, it's that authentic beauty, and it's beautiful. When someone looks in the mirror and they're messing with their hair, it's like, it's satisfying.
Yeah, it's totally your sweet spot, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
it
you can
is.
just see it all in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So for starters that haven't started or kind of have a lot of fear, what's 3 pieces of advice you'd give someone that is thinking about starting their own business?
Like a freelance makeup artist?
Or anything.
Like an entrepreneur? Yeah. I would say to follow your heart. To so follow your heart, and to not, that would be number 1 for sure, and to not get caught up in the emotions of the glitz and the glamour, but to really follow what your calling is, and to not look to the left, not look to the right, but just go straight. I ran track as a kid, and I remember, don't look at your opponent, because the second you look, you slow down. So if you just keep your eyes straight ahead on your truths and things that you stand on, that would be my huge number 1. Number 2 would be to really take with a grain of salt what people say to you, the advice that they give you. And that's not a bad thing. That's just, I think, a wisdom thing, is being wise in who your counsel is.
Wow.
Being wise in who you take advice from, both entrepreneurship and personally. Because as an entrepreneur, you have to know who you are as a person, and know your identity, and know what your foundation is. And then lastly is exactly what I just finished that up with, was knowing who you are and knowing your why. What we were talking about earlier about not getting lost in doing something just because Sally's doing it, but doing it because you want to do it. And that's really the most satisfying thing, is not being afraid to fail, and not being afraid to step out of the boat and maybe sink a little bit.
Maybe all the way down.
Yeah.
Like, all the way, right?
Yeah.
That water coming up here, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. Not be afraid to doggy paddle a little, like, you know, and be in over your head. It's okay, because I feel like you really learn. You really get put to the test when you literally have, like, everything around you is like a tornado, you know? And it may not be a tornado. It may be looking fantastic, but you're screaming on the inside.
Right.
You know, whatever is going on around you, to really just stay centered and stay true to who you are.
So I know you have a strong spirituality. So what are your spiritual practices that keep you there, centered?
That keep me centered, is staying in the Word, staying in the truth, staying in like scriptures that I hold heart to, and intercessory prayer. Prayer is such a huge thing for me, because it helps me to bless others. Like, it's not just about
Praying
me.
for other people?
Yeah, it's not just about me. It's kind of like taking myself out of the equation and starting to bless people that, you know, may have rubbed me the wrong way, or people that I look up to. Start blessing them.
That's interesting. So it's actually a spiritual practice of yours. Like someone would go to the mat and do yoga.
Yeah.
Or would go to a food bank. But one way you bless people is to pray for them.
Yeah, totally. And I've seen it works wonders, honestly. Like, you know, knowing that we do live in a world where there is light and darkness, you know, what I hold to is just clinging to my direct connection of knowing that I have a voice to talk to the creator of the universe. Like, that is my big thing, is knowing that who I am and that he created me to make a difference.
Yeah.
And for a purpose, and it's not a coincidence. He could have chose any thousands of years, but you chose this time at this place.
Yep.
In this city.
Now is your time. Now is your turn.
Yeah.
A book that's had an impact on you?
Yeah. Captivating by Lisa Eldridge. Or sorry, Stacey Eldridge.
I've read some of her husband's work.
Yeah. She has such a beautiful way of speaking truth. And she gives these great examples of just romance. Of like, not the fantasy romance, the real life romance of who we are as women and how to empower other women. And I love this statement that says, you know, a leader is one who builds other women up, not tear them down. And it's a whole book about discovering what you were created to do, like who you are.
Okay, and captivating.
Captivating, yeah. So it's learning to be captivated by what's around you, and also teaches you how to be captivating to, you know, a spouse or to your audience. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Things that you wish other people knew that were hard lessons for you?
Oh, that's a good one. Boundaries is a huge one. I wish other people knew when to say no and when to say yes. And knowing that when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something. And when you say no to something, you're also saying yes to something. And that was a huge thing that I learned probably in more college and just honestly recently, is when you have an inkling to speak truth to someone, or even to like encourage someone, to really take to heed what you're saying and to not just be silly-nilly with your words. That our words have power, and our words speak to our soul, and our words have such power over us and our identities. And things that I spoke to other people, or people spoke to me, I really held on to them, and some of them were not true, and I really had to work through finding the truth in it.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
the power of words.
Yes. So yeah.
So much wisdom. As we get ready to wrap up, we find you where online?
At marinmakeup.com.
marinmakeup.com, and then across social, what are you?
I am Marin Makeup, or Marin MUA.
Okay.
And then on Instagram, I'm Marin Makeup Artist. So it's pretty much Marin Makeup. You'll see a little flowery logo, and that's me.
And Ashley did my makeup today, so we're going to give her lots of stars. So in parting, one last thing that you'd like to say?
Yeah. I would just say, choose love. Choose love no matter what you do, where you go. No matter how much it hurts, just choose love. Because love conquers all.
Wisdom beyond your years, young lady. It's been fascinating being with you.
Thank you. You're awesome.